first of all, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we just left the tornado warning polygon because obviously we didn't want to be in the middle of it. So we're driving up to right now. We're in Solomons, right at the top of the 11. So we're moving towards Prince Frederick just to be as safe as possible. And it's pretty strange. Honestly, we've seen the number of lightning strikes diminish over the past 10 minutes. And this is moderate rain. I wouldn't say heavy rain, you know, from our decades of experience in news before a tornado is imminent. And there we go, Jesse Varner, our man at the controls of the Weather Explorer, turning on our top lights here so you can see the rain, which looks a little more intense with those bright lights than it is. But again, we're heading north towards Prince Frederick. So I would say that the winds are not whipping up, at least where we are, in its intensity right now. Very few drivers who are on the road. And in terms of if you do, by some absolute reason, need to be on the road, the main roads that we've seen as we make our way north in Calvert County so far have not had to deal with any kind of sustained flooding at the moment. But this is a pretty accurate picture of what we're seeing. We're taking it slow as we head up again towards Prince Frederick. Leslie.
Yeah, that's good news there. And also the good news is you don't have a lot of company out there. That means people are listening. That means they're taking cover when they need to. That means they're making safe decisions for themselves and their families. And we want you all to be safe as well. Topper, you just heard Mike and Jesse. They're out there. They say it's not quite as intense as it might sound like it could be. What does that mean?
They're smart. They're getting away from the brunt of the storm, which is good news. They got in their car when the lightning came, and that is just, you know, great textbook news as well. So these are, so I just tracked it for you most recently. So California 1127, let's see, Clark's Landing at about 1128, Hollywood at 1135, Hillville at 1138, Sandgate's 1141. So it is pushing off to the north and the west at about 30 miles an hour. I really think it's going to eventually change and go back to the east as the storm system moves and takes its bands away. And this is not to be taken lightly either. This is inside this box here is the flash flood warning for St. Mary's County until 2:15. And so that is that means flooding is occurring. Don't try to cross a flooded street, especially when it's dark. You have no idea how deep it is, how fast the water is running. It's just not a good idea. I'll zoom back out, and you know, again, we're looking at the heaviest bands just barely into southern Maryland. I mean, this is pretty much the western extent of these heavy bands, and it seems like they're the most dangerous bands right now with the tornado warnings. No showers in La Plata. We're dry up inside the Beltway, but heavy bands extend across the bay into the Delmarva, across Salisbury, and now approaching Ocean City, and some heavy activity already over toward Bethany, South Bethany, and also Rehoboth.
Hey, Top, and even when this tornado warning expires, we still have a flash flood warning that goes until 2:15 in the morning for St. Mary's.
For St. Mary's, right. And it'll take a while to go down. I mean, flash floods go up and down pretty fast, but it's so flat there, and they have places that flood. They can flood in just a run-of-the-mill summer thunderstorm. So, yes, this is going to take a while. So 11:30, the storms, you know, are still on the west side of the bay, and then they kind of weaken a little bit by the time we get to 12:30. This is that clump of storms that's causing the severe weather now that is just kind of lagging behind everybody else. Okay, this is the main activity for Elsa, but it's not really catching up. And so 1:30, now it finally weakens a little bit. We see a little bit of rain showers either side of 95, but the main thing with Elsa is over here, and Elsa would be right about here at 1:30, just to the north of Salisbury and the south of Georgetown.
Top, we've got our colleague Tom Dempsey out in Leonardtown, but before I go to Tom, what should he know at this point, where he's standing?
Well, you know, let me just go back to the radar for a second. We can kind of put things in perspective. Obviously, you want to be you're not right now in the path of the storm. It's going toward Hollywood as opposed to, Tom's out here in Leonardtown. It's going more toward Hollywood up 235.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean, you know, you should be hanging out in the street with a microphone. Okay, Tom? So I would stay in the car in case there's a lightning strike. Remember, lightning strikes can happen well outside the main rain area. In fact, most folks get hit by lightning with light rain or when it's not raining at all because they feel they're safe, and they're not. So we don't see a tremendous amount of lightning. It's kind of come and gone. Mike reported about a half an hour ago some heavier lightning up to the north and west of Solomons up here, but you got to stay safe. But I guess the best news for Tom is he's not in the direct path of the tornado warning at this moment.
Yeah, Tom, we're going to let you get into a safer space, and then when you're ready to do that, we'll kind of check in with you and see what's going on. But Top, you're looking at these areas, and right now as we look, it's 11:27, so folks are in California, Clark's Landing, Sodderly, they all need to be taking cover right now.
Yeah, Hillville, Sandgates, I would take cover. And also, I wouldn't let your guard down for places that were up to the north and the west, in case the whole band begins to pull back to the north and east. Whole band begins to shift back to the north and the east. I think this westward progression is going to come to a halt pretty soon. I really do. In fact, if I put this, let's just go ahead and just put this into motion. I'm going to loop this for 2 hours. See how it doesn't go much further? You think, oh, it's going to get to Hollywood, puts on the brakes, stops. So that's good news if you're in Leonardtown or Hollywood. Bad news if you're in southern St. Mary's County, because it's got to go back over you again to exit the county.
It left you, and now it's coming back.
It's now going to come back and then go across the bay. So it's going to kind of hit some of these folks twice before it goes back, and that may be one reason they put the warning out here, the flash flood warning out for so long. So that's something that is unfortunate, but it's not going to go that much further to the west right now. But
at this point, this is going to go on for another 20 minutes or so.
It looks like it, and I don't think we had time to mention it at the top of the show, but it's the third consecutive bulletin that the pressure has dropped in a tropical storm that's over land.
Okay, so for the rest of us?
Pretty unusual. When the pressure drops, it's getting stronger or staying the same strength. Normally, they have to be over warm water. That's their energy. But this thing is kind of power-packed and able to keep its circulation together very well in an unfavorable environment. I was pretty impressed with the storm, given that it's over land. Wouldn't be surprising if it were over the ocean, but it's over land. I want to just look at one thing real quickly here.
All right, we got some flooding here, Top, if you look in this box here. Jeff, tell me where this is again. This is in Callaway? Okay, so this is live in Callaway.
Callaway, okay. Oh, okay, yeah, that came up on our radar screen.
Oh, wow, look at that. Yeah, you look, that's a lot of water.
I mean, it's just
And
flat.
it looks like there's some cars that may have water coming up a sizable part of those vehicles right there, if I'm looking at this accurately.
It looks like
And
it.
I see somebody, now let's see if this person's going to turn around. And they're doing exactly what you tell people not to do.
Yeah.
You don't know how much water is there, you have no idea what's going to happen, and how little of an amount of water can carry you further than you intend, Tom?
12 to 18 inches.
Yep, there's
That's
another
it.
car
That's
right
it.
there. So
and the other thing is that let's say it's not that strong, but let's say it's already washed out some of the road. So now you don't know where the road is, right? I mean, maybe a little sinkhole developed, and all of a sudden now it's 2 feet deep instead of 6 inches. So not good. So there is the tornado watch. So it has been, it was allowed to expire for Calvert County and for St. Mary's County. Okay, it still continues till 2 a.m. across the bay for damaging winds and isolated tornadoes. Doesn't mean though we can't see tornadoes without a watch, because we are seeing one right now. So here's the radar, and we're looking at the heaviest bands moving up the bay over toward Easton and then across the bay into extreme southern Maryland, just a little part of southern Maryland. West of 95, it is just essentially a quiet night with a couple of showers down 95 toward Woodbridge, but that's about it. But this is the storm now, and they've now canceled the tornado warning. So that's good news. They have the flash flood warning in St. Mary's City, and I just looked at the velocity for a minute, and I just wasn't that impressed with the rotation. Still a big storm, okay? Don't let your guard down. Still has heavy rainfall. We'll probably see some more flooding off to the north and the west, but the tornado warning has now been canceled. That is fantastic news. We still have this flash flood warning until 2:15. That's going to go for a while. And I'm animating this to show you it's just not going that far west. It looks like it's going to go pretty far west, puts on the brakes, stops, I think eventually it's going to go back to the east as Elsa pulls off to the north and the east. But this is still going to produce some heavy rain over toward Hollywood and Sandgates in California. But the good news is tornado warning has been canceled. So there are no tornado warnings at this hour in the metro. We just have this warning here, which is a flash flood warning. Very serious. In fact, that results in more fatalities than tornadoes usually. So don't try to cross a flooded street if you're in St. Mary's County in that area, especially southern St. Mary's County. So in terms of futurecast, it still tries to hold on to this band of pretty heavy cells, and then it weakens it by 12:30, takes it across the bay as Elsa begins to depart. And the good news is, we talked about this, it's moving quickly. So that is fantastic. If Elsa would stall, we'd end up with heavier rain bands and more flooding. But the track really hasn't changed much last 24 hours, and the speed hasn't changed much. It's going to continue to move pretty quickly. By 1:30, heaviest bands are almost offshore into southern New Jersey, but off the Delmarva coast, which is good news for us. So right now, we have no tornado warnings. We still have the tropical storm warnings for Calvert County, St. Mary's County, and across the bay, and we still have that flash flood warning as well. So that's pretty good news, Ms. Foster, at this juncture with the storm. By the time we get to 2:30, it's hardly raining anywhere west of the bay, and most of the heavy activity now is across the bay. So good news.
Top
okay?
question for you, because
Yes.
this was supposed to go until 11:45, so it ended early.
Yeah, and here's what they did. I mean, I looked at it and I didn't see much rotation. They probably scanned the storm again, and they did this on last Thursday with Chester.
Right.
You know, when it's Doppler indicated, certain boxes are ticked off in an algorithm. But then the question is, the second scan, it's not as bad as it thought, and then it will cancel it. Still a heavy storm.
Sure.
You know, but yes, that's not that uncommon, especially with the advances we have with Doppler radar. We have more tornado warnings, but we're also able to get rid of them when they don't appear to be a real threat. Oh, there they go, driving
Topper,
through.
they're not listening.
I know.
They're
I know.
driving through flooded streets.
Yeah, they're driving through flooded streets. Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, I mean, okay, let's just hope the road is there and everything is in place for them.
Let's sure hope so. And I guess if the best advice would be, if you don't have to be out there, don't go out there, because again, you never know how much water it is, and it can look like there's not much of it, and it's hard to react once you get into the thick of it.
And it's dark.
And it's dark.
It's dark. I mean,
It's dark.
That is the worst time to try to guess how deep it is.
It is. All right, so that flash flood warning goes until 2:15 in the morning for
2:15.
St. Mary's County. Still heavy rain, all kinds of stuff to be concerned about. But when weather's the big story, you know this is the place to be. And so we can continue to follow what's happening.
We will jump on Facebook and YouTube Live.
Both of them. Plus, you can text the word ELSA to 202-895-5599. We'll let you know what the status of the storm is. And, of course, bright and early in the morning, Get Up DC. Yes. We'll keep you updated. Chester will be here along with the team. We want to keep you safe. We want you to stay safe, so keep it here. And don't go outside and drive in that bad weather.
That's bad.
Stay home.
Bad.
Stay home. That's it for us.
See
Have a
you
great
on
night,
the other
everybody.
side.
He'll be on Facebook
Other
Live
side.
and YouTube. Have a great night.
This has been a WUSA 9 Weather Alert. Stay safe from the storm wherever you go. Download the WUSA 9 mobile app.